Winter is still to hit, but are Britons already bracing for the cold? British households put more away in savings in the second quarter, a clear sign of caution as tax hikes loom in Chancellor Rachel Reeves' upcoming budget. Meanwhile, Bank of England's Catherine Mann warns that price pressures from US tariffs haven't even landed yet. With wallets closing and nerves fraying, is the UK heading for a spending freeze? George Godber is a UK fund manager at Polar Capital. So George, we just got a clearer picture of the budget after the Labour Party conference this week. Is the anxiety justified?
Well, I think it is, because what did we learn at the conference? Not a lot. But what we did learn is there's still no appetite really for addressing this ever-expanding welfare budget. So, they confirmed this, attempt to remove the two-child benefit cap. And so concern sort of really surrounds in the market. How is the black hole that has been developed from overspending going to be filled? Now, we won't know that number until we get that data and information from the OBR. It's really their assumptions that will drive that, and we'll start to get that information in the next sort of coming days and weeks.
So should we brace for a big productivity downgrade from the OBR, and what's at stake for Rachel Reeves?
I think the first thing to say is when you look at the productivity assumptions and the speed of improvement they had, it's not realistic. So yes, you should get a downgrade. However, I do think the OBR is probably going to be quite measured, because quite rightly they will put that context of productivity in a reference the shocks that happened with COVID, that happened because of the Ukraine war, etc. So actually, to get a true underlying and measure of productivity, yes, they will downgrade it, but I don't think they're going to suddenly take a big hatchet to their forecasts.
Let's go back to those comments from Bank of England's Mann. Do you agree that US tariffs haven't yet hit UK inflation?
Well, I sort of agree in one respect, is that they haven't. I don't think they will. So I think we just don't import very much from the US. We've obviously got a very low tariff position relative to any others. There's lots of things with inflation that concern me, but I'm definitely not concerned about sort of US tariffs on inflation.
Mann as well, ever the hawk, said that interest rates need to stay put. Is the Bank of England done hiking for the year? I
think it is for this year. The challenge for the Bank of England, if you look, I think it's probably best expressed with, say, Professor Taylor. He clearly articulates the danger from a weakening labour market and what that would mean, and why you would maybe be looking for more cuts. The challenge that the Bank of England is facing is that the inflation that's in front of it is policy driven. It's driven by the government's policy on energy, so it's putting up high bills there. It's driven by national living wage hikes. It's driven by the national insurance hike that we saw at last year's budget. So those pass-throughs that have come through perhaps maybe more vigorously than was expected, but they're driven by policy, and that policy hasn't changed. So if you're the Bank of England, it's tough to sort of call an end in sight there. So I think that's why we are likely to get any more cuts this year. As we look into next year, it's all about labour market data. If that weakens further, then yes, I think we will get more cuts into next year.
So overall, with costs soaring and consumers pulling back, are UK retailers facing a bleak Christmas this year?
I think for the UK consumer, you said at the start, savings are up. Why is that? The UK consumer is cautious. Every time it opens its newspaper or goes online, it reads about another tax that's been mooted in the budget by some think tank, and it's causing consumers to be pretty fearful and hoard more money. And I don't see really anything that's going to change that this side of the budget. So as a very least, let's say that Christmas is going to come late this year. I don't think you'll see a big surge in shopping in November time, because everybody will be waiting to see how much their personal finances get impacted by the November budget.
Finally, George, AstraZeneca is moving to upgrade its listings in the US. Is the UK losing its grip on its corporate heavyweights?
I think sadly so. I think at some stage there's a very obvious policy response that will get done in terms of stimulating equity investment into British companies, whether it's through encouraging pension funds to put more in, or the British ISA. But at the moment, I think the worrying signal is, the FTSE 100 alone pays north of the 10% of the entirety of the tax take into the UK economy. It's a vast contributor. If we lose that, we're in a very, very, very bad position. So hopefully it's a wake-up call. I don't know if it is, but it's not just the lack of interest this side. I think they're definitely moving to a more business-friendly environment in the States, where regulators are encouraging more investment, and there's a greater understanding of helping business to grow than there is perhaps here and in Europe.
That was George Godber from Polar Capital. Don't forget, you can watch more videos on Reuters.com.